Welcome back, guys, to another episode of Armchair Pundits. This week, as you can see by our tops, it is a Liverpool special. And I've got Wale with me. How you doing, bro?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Could be better. But what can we do?
Yeah, no. It's difficult times in a way at the moment. But as it's a Liverpool special, we'll be talking about how we feel this season's going to go, how the summer's gone, tactical evolution, squad depth, title contention, injury concerns, and then we'll end up with our season predictions. So, I'll let you kick it off. No key signings so far.
Nope. It's
What's your view?
disappointing. Disappointing, I think, is the word I would use because I look at it and I think the team isn't. It's not in a bad shape. In fact, two things are disappointing for me: the lack of signings and the way that we haven't addressed three contracts that need sorting out, which is Trent, which is Virgil van Dijk, and Salah's. And my big concern with it is because we're not even looking in the market right now, we can't even say these three, if they was to be let go, which I don't think they should be, but if they was to be let go, we've got no actual replacement to say this person will come in or that one will come in. It's concerning for me. It's very concerning for me. But I mean, the way things have gone recently with the Zubimendi deal, the lack of alternative, the lack of going out there to look for another number six, the way that everything has been structured, it just doesn't seem right to me. It seems like there's a lack of focus from them. So I'm concerned, to be honest with you. A few days to go to the season, I'm very concerned.
Yes. At the start of the summer, I was adamant we'll make three signings. Even when Hughes said June and July would be quiet, but because of all the tournaments and he even mentioned the Olympics, I was like, okay, cool. They will give us something. Then obviously Zubimendi comes out, and you're hearing whispers that is it a real? Do we really want him? Is it going to be like Caicedo like last year? Because I said it myself. I put a post out saying, is it a false flag?
Yeah.
Because for me, everyone, Barcelona, Bayern Munich, Man United, Arsenal, had tried to sign him. We're not known for giving loads of money. We're not known for doing long contracts with that. So I thought to myself, apart from him being a massive fan of Alonso, why is he going to choose us over them? So are we doing the thing where we go in for a player and we know they're not going to say yes, but we then say at the end of it, okay, we tried for our number one player and the market's not what we were looking for and we're not going to get anyone else. And it feels like that's what we've done. The only thing that stopped me from thinking that is I'm potentially believing some of the journalists that have said that he actually said yes in the first place. At the beginning, he said yes, and then he changed his mind. So you got which side do you fall on? That's the question to you. Do you fall on the side of he said yes and he changed his mind, or do you think we were never getting him in the first place?
I fall in that. I fall in the side of he said yes and we changed his mind. Even Caicedo, I believe there was not so much that the player said yes, but there was something where the agents had given the impression he would come over to Liverpool because you don't make a bid or you don't go through all that work for a player and put all your eggs in one basket if you don't think you've got an opportunity to get him. So I reckon that they felt whether they've spoken to his agent, whether they've spoken to him, he was open to the move. I've got no issue with the fact that they didn't get him because he's changed his mind. I've got no issue with the fact that they focused on one number six that they wanted because it would suit Slot's style of play. No issue with that at all. If he says no, these things can happen. And this is the funny thing, I actually said it on the day of when it all, before the news broke that he said no. I said, I don't mind if they're focusing on one player because it means that they're trying to get their first choice. If they don't get their first choice, I don't really want to end up with a fourth or fifth choice, but I don't mind if they got a second or a third choice. I think that's what happened with the manager. I think the manager wasn't the first choice they wanted, but they had a backup plan. This situation should have had a backup plan, and that's where I think is the big issue here. No backup plan means that even if you want to have Slot implement his style of play, if his style of
Mm-hmm.
play is dependent upon a certain type of number six, because everything I'm reading is about he doesn't play with a breakup midfield number 6. He plays with a
Yeah, ball
playmaking
winning
squad
guy.
number 6. Yeah. So if that's the case, we need to go out there and look in the market. What other player can we get that will suit your system? Because currently we don't have one, and that's my big concern. Nobody seems to have done their due diligence to say we're not going to get him. Okay, no problem. Let's go and get another number 6 who will fit that style. That's my concern.
I always look around. I watch a lot of football, and yes, I'm not a professional. I'm never gonna act like I'm a professional and I know as much as these guys. But I feel like I watch enough football to know that there are alternatives out there. And yes, it sounds great that you have your number one target and you only want to go for number one target. We've been saying it for 3 years.
Yep.
Chouameni was a number one target. We didn't get him. Okay, forget it. Bellingham was a number one target. We didn't get him, so forget it. Caicedo and Lavia were number one and number two targets. We didn't get it. Okay, we went down and got Endo, but he wasn't at their standard. And as much as Endo had his good games last year, everyone knew Teneke was a stopgap.
Yep.
And he was, especially at his age. So for us to be in this situation now, new manager comes in, and bear in mind, this new manager, unless I'm wrong, he said he's watched all our games from last season. He's no way he could have watched all the training sessions, but he's watched a lot of our training sessions. So before the guys came back from their breaks, he could see. Yes, you want to see with your own eyes, but he's seen in those clips what those players are like. So then after a week of training with Endo, he should know that Endo's not the one for me. You guys have to get me this person or this person. So I just think it's outrageous that you're gone.
No, I was gonna say, no, to agree with your point. I think what emphasizes what you're saying is the fact Endo barely played in pre-season. So to emphasize the point of you're saying, it's not even like to say that the manager just don't fancy him. The manager hasn't even played him in pre-season. So are they now expecting he's going to now play him as a starter, as an option? It doesn't make sense.
That's why I think it's going to be Gravenberch. It's going to be Jones. Those two are going to be two of our pivots. We all know that McAllister's going to start. Yep. So it's McAllister plus one other. By Cecic, who we all rate highly, in all honesty, I said it before the end of last season, he doesn't look right. And it was understandable. He's been out for a year. And in pre-season, he never once started with the first team, so to speak, in the first half, in any of the games. He always came on with the kids, so to speak. So Slot saw he wasn't ready. And obviously now we're hearing that they're willing to loan him, which is good for us because him playing week in, week out can only benefit us. But at the same time, it hampers us because we all thought, okay, cool, he's going to eventually at some point in the season come in and play. So if he now goes out on loan, then that makes it even more difficult. And it brings on to my next point is whether you think we've got the depth to compete on multiple fronts, including Premier League, Champions League, and to win cups. Because for me, we have to win something this season.
If I'm honest with you, I'd say no. If we'd have brought in a DM and one other player, that for me is enough to say yes. But I have to look at it. The players we've now let go. So we've let go of Matip, even though we've got Kwanzaa coming. But Matip really is a squad player we've now lost out on. We've I don't really count what's his name, Thiago, because Thiago wasn't available last season. But a lot of the players we have are injury prone, which is another problem. Konate, Jota. So are we now expecting they're going to run through the whole season? Even Robertson's getting like that. Are we expecting they're all going to run through the whole season with no injury, no problems, no nothing? My concern is, I think 11 versus 11, our first team is great. Even if you go to like one or two subs, our first team is great. But people seem to forget that the reason why so many kids played in the League Cup final wasn't because the club decided to play them. It's because there was no option because players were getting injured and he had to play them. We're not in a position right now.
And we're now selling them. And we're now selling them.
Yeah. Honestly, we're not in a position where our squad depth is as deep as we were a couple of years ago, challenging for the league, Premier League, Champions League, other cups. So realistically, this season, I can only see us maybe winning a cup and putting a top three challenge, and a top three maybe even at risk because all those around us are strengthening and we haven't strengthened. And excuse me, like I said, having Trent, Van Dijk, and Salah in the last years, that's a lot of pressure that we're going to be having because there will be constant talks. Have they signed? When are they signing? Are they then going to go? Creates a dynamic we don't need right now.
See, I think when I look at it, I think we can win a trophy.
Yeah.
With the squad depth, but my worry is, like just now, we've just agreed to let Bobby Clark, go to Salzburg. It's not. Is it? Yeah, Salzburg.
Yeah.
10 million. So he's someone who I rated when he came on and played for us last season. He didn't look out of place. So for me, that was someone who can play Carabao Cup and give other guys a rest. He can play dead minutes. When you got those 5 subs, he can come on and play dead minutes there. So we're losing that. The only thing that is different, obviously, we've always got to look at it. We're not under Klopp anymore. So the way we got injuries before, the training from before, it might not be the same because the intensity of training could be different. The type of training. So we may not get the same injuries. So fingers crossed, touching wood on the table, that we see less injuries because we're under new management. But I don't know.
I mean, you touched on something there about the young players who've sold. It's interesting that the Carvalho sale, the Bobby Clark sale, the money from other sales and sell-on clauses like the Solanke deal, there's another deal as well. There's another 2 deals I think we've made money from. It's all totaling up to nearly £50 million. So from those little sales, I say little sales, from those sales there, that's enough. It wouldn't surprise me, and this is the funny thing about our club. I wouldn't be surprised if in the next few days we hear that they've triggered the release clause for Zubimendi, just for paying the full money now. That wouldn't surprise me. But then it also makes me think, well, if you've created a cash pot of 50 million, you must have a cash pot available as well. Adding all that together, why can't you go out there and get? And it's not even just the number 6. We're talking about we still need a centre back. We still need a left back or right back. We still need players in other key positions. We're not even strengthening them. So this money we've got available, if it's not utilised in this window, I'll be very, very doubtful of us being able to challenge for the title. Being in a top 4, top 3, possibly, but for the title like we did last season, because last season, I think everybody expected we would be in the top 4 fight, not in a title fight. And credit to the team, they did get to the top 4, to the title fight. But I think the problem is we saw, because of the lack of the squad being available, when we had all the injuries, we couldn't get the players in. That was the problem there.
Yeah, I agree. It's tough because with all those signings going out, we just have to sit and hope. Right, I'll be honest, I'm still hoping out that we've got 16 days left.
Yeah.
That even if we don't get a DM, because I believe we need a backup right winger, sorry.
Yes.
Because it's looking more and more likely Salah's going to go. It's looking likely Van Dijk's going to go. Possibly even Trent, but I'm hoping Trent signs. But those two are probably not going to get new contracts. So I'd rather have a right winger that comes in and learns from Salah for a year.
Yeah.
Give Salah time to rest at least. Obviously, Salah never likes to rest. But he's already in the club. And the left-back situation, I'm one of those who thinks we can do one more year with Tsimikas and Robertson.
Yeah.
Bringing another left-back in now, you have to sell one of the 2. There's no point having 3 of them in there. So I don't mind waiting till next summer to get another left-back. But there's the centre-back, we probably need one. Will we get one? I don't know. It depends on Joe Gomez.
I was about to say that. I didn't watch all of the pre-season games that we played. but I was intrigued to find out where Joe Gomez was playing, because if he was playing as left back, it means that we're not looking at to get another left back. They'll probably alternate the three. If he was playing as centre back, though, that for me tells me
Yeah,
that
he
we're going
played.
to be centre back.
Yeah, he only played. He only played the very last game, and he played in the. He came on off the bench and played centre back.
So,
So
I'm
he
hoping that
played
means.
left side centre back.
So I'm hoping that means he will now be fighting back for a first position of centre back, which is,
I
for
don't mind
me,
that.
I think that's his strongest position. I don't want to see him as a utility player. I actually want to see him as the centre back he was in the season we won the league, when him and Van Dijk had
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
partnership. That was his best. But until we see what he's like playing week in, week out, because I mean, when he came back after his injury, he wasn't the same player. He looks defensively like he's up to speed right now, so I'm hoping he will come back. But like I say, it's concerning for me that we're not actually even strengthening other areas. Forget the number six. The number six
Yeah.
is key, but other areas we know doesn't make sense to me. And I agree with you that we do need to get a forward in to learn off of Salah, because I think Salah will be
Yeah.
going. Van Dijk, I don't think we can afford to let go. Van Dijk has got to stay at least
No.
another 2-3 seasons, because he's still one of the
Yeah.
best centre backs in the world. I don't understand why you would not try and keep that position and try and get the most out of him. Doesn't make sense to me.
100%. So I watched all of the games. I was crazy enough to stay up and watch them at 1:00 in the morning. But tactical analysis. So looking through the games tactically, that's why I wanted to watch it. To be honest, highlights don't show you enough, but I liked what I saw tactically.
Yeah.
There was still the small worry. We did give up a lot of chances. I think before we played our last game, the last two games, sorry, on Sunday, we had 24 shots and conceded 38 shots.
Wow.
Which tells you the problem of hasn't completely gone because we don't have a DM to protect the back line. But what I did like about Slot was he was very vocal about it.
Yeah.
After each game, we conceded too many shots. So he's aware. And it's something he wants to fix, which is good. And the formations and the pressing intensity was really good. Really, really good. And he showed a lot of people didn't like the fact that Klopp always did a 4-3-3. As
Yeah.
you know, one of our friends
Yes.
always says 4-3-3 till I die. First game, we didn't have any strikers, so he went 4-2-4 and played two false nines, which shows me that during the season he will adjust,
Yeah.
which is what we've needed. I think Klopp adjusted. It just wasn't as blatant as some people would have liked it to be. But Klopp adjusted. He wanted to get to where he was without doing so. But it'll be good to see how he uses star players like Mo Salah, Van Dijk, and Trent of all people. So how do you think he's going to use Trent? Do you have a feeling he's going to keep him as a right back?
I think he'll keep him right back. I would like, and the thing is, unless, see, this is the madness of it, you know, and this wouldn't surprise me. I wouldn't be surprised if we now saw Trent being played as a right forward or a right winger,
Wow.
and then
Serious?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, because I don't think Trent for me hasn't got the discipline. Isn't probably the best word, but the discipline to sit as a centre midfielder, the spatial discipline for it. We saw that with England. I don't think he was best in that position. I think that the club will look at it as they have Bradley, who can play right back, so we can actually start to play Bradley and blood him in as the first choice right back. That will then also mean that instead of us going out there and getting a forward on the right, they could try and maybe adjust the system and play Trent on the right hand side. So instead of being a goal scoring right forward, it will be an assisting right forward, focusing on the other ones to get the goals. That wouldn't surprise me. But one thing I did like about the preseason games, I liked the fluid way we went from the back to the front quickly. My gripe with Klopp when Klopp first came for the first couple of years was we spent a lot of time passing in the midfield, and then we dominate the ball, and then we would break. And I think what I'm liking that I've seen in the preseason was the breaking forward seems to be very similar to when it was Salah, Firmino, Mane in terms of the pace of how quickly it goes from front to back. There doesn't seem to
Hmm.
be a need to circulate the ball in midfield as much. It's very much a case of get the ball forward and make the chances count. And I think I saw that against, I think it might have been it's either Arsenal or the Man United game in America. One of them two games I saw that how quickly we went from defence to attack. But certainly in that the first of the two last games at Anfield, that game there, the first one, I saw how quickly it went.
It's severe.
And
Yeah.
that for me, I like. I like the fact that it's like pass at the back, very slow and then quickly midfield striker goal. And that's what I think is suited to the forwards that we have. They're all very quick. They can all make that work, I think.
Yeah. And it's a lot of the small space passing as well.
Yes.
We're doing a lot more drawing players in. A lot of times we would draw players in as a defense, but now we do it everywhere. It seems we do it in midfield as well. We draw, and then we escape.
Mm-hmm.
And we scored 2 goals from it.
Yeah, I
2
did
long
like
balls were one from Kelleher and one from Allison. Really good goals, and I don't know. There was trepidation at first. I did watch some of finals games because they were in Europe, so I knew a little bit about how they played, but I was still concerned on how we would do it. But they've
yeah.
taken to it quite well. Obviously, we have not played what do you call it, an actual game, so it always makes it different when you play. It's a competitive game, sorry. When the competitive games comes in, it makes it a bit different. But I don't know. I've got a good feeling of how they've taken to it and how it's going to go forward. Because as Slot said himself, what he's asking them to do is not completely different to what
No,
Klopp was getting them to do anyway.
no.
It's just minor little tweaks of where you're positioning yourself.
I
It's
think
even little
if
things
he's
where I think
no, so I was going to say, I
they're
think
gone.
if he's given the tools, if he's given the players he needs for the position, I don't even mean go out and
Mm,
get top name players. If he's given the number 6 he wants in terms of how they play, if he's given a forward in how we play, I think that we will really have a chance. But these are
mm,
key areas that I think are key to how his vision of how we're going to go forward have to be addressed. Because if they're not addressed, it doesn't allow him the opportunity to grow the team as he wants it. Because you can see, as you said, just the little we've seen, it's not like we're playing boring football or poor football. It's good football. And I
mm,
think with the quality
mm.
of players available in the team, it would only get better. This is quite ironic. Had Thiago had fitness, I think he would have suited this team perfectly.
100%,
Perfectly. Perfectly. But
100% agree with that. Because there's just even little things that you're hearing from training where they sound like small and worthless, but stuff like you're hearing he tells the players when they lose the ball, like viciously, you lose the ball, you're losing a chance for us to score every time you lose the ball. So he
yeah.
switches them when they lose the ball. That possession is king. Even apparently in rondos now, there's no flicks, there's no tricks in rondos, just so that the body's always in open position. Little
Yeah.
stuff like that where people say, "Oh, come on," it makes a difference because it improves little tactical things in a game and how a manager wants to implement things. Because
Mm-hmm.
if you're used to doing wall passes, but this person does a flick here and there, then it breaks down the play sometimes.
Yeah.
So just the tactical tweaks he's bringing in, they seem good. I'll keep on saying, the proof of being a pudding once the competitive games come in and we
Yeah.
start seeing the results. But just a small thing, looking at the rivals, I think you said earlier where other people, excuse me, other teams are making moves and we're not. I think, do you feel we're falling far behind or we will fall far behind if we only signed, or if we didn't sign anybody? Do you think we'll fall very far behind or we'll still
I
be
don't.
within reach of third?
The thing is, I don't think we'd be falling far behind Arsenal and City, but I think we'd be allowing others to catch up. That's my
Yeah.
biggest problem. I don't, even the squad we got right now, I think can challenge for third place. It can challenge for
Mm.
third place. The problem is I don't think that we're that far off Arsenal and City where they were last season, even with their signings. But I think the big problem we have is the fact that the um the rivals behind us are strengthening. That's the big problem I think we've got at the moment. I can see Villa getting stronger, Newcastle getting stronger, all the teams coming up. They're coming up thick and fast. Even the teams that were sort of like struggling per se, like the West Hams and stuff. New manager, new players,
Yeah.
new ideas, and we know that Lopetegui, isn't it, is a good tactical
Yeah.
manager. You've got a lot of good
Yeah.
tactical managers in the Premier League right now who, if they get to implement their styles, are going to make a dent into us. That's going to be more of a problem for us, I think, than us not catching Arsenal and City. More of a problem than other teams catching us. That's my biggest concern.
I think Arsenal, if they don't get a striker, they don't move too far away from us. If they get a striker and the striker settles, then it's worrying that they could pull away. Man City, we know they're going to get a striker. They've sold Alvarez. They're going to get 82 million. They're going to get a striker. But obviously, with the issue with them is the 115.
Yeah,
and next month they're going to start. Yeah, they're going to start next month, and they want it finished by the end of the season. The thing is, they may not lose points until the end of the season. Would they really? I sit there and think, if it comes to the end of the season, City are top, are they really going to deduct them the points and make them move to the league? They'll probably wait until the season after. That's what I think. So
it's going to be interesting.
Now,
that's going to be interesting.
Yeah, it will. So, looking at the injury history of our players, does that worry you?
Joe Gomez, Jota, even Diaz has had
Jones even
recently. Jones. There's a lot of players we have that you can't guarantee, you can't rely on. You see them go down and you start to do your prayers and your Hail Marys and stuff because you're worrying about whether or not they're going to be fit to complete the game, talk us to the next game. And that's my biggest concern. We have got players available who can impact the team and make us look really good. But in terms of injuries, no. Maybe having a different manager and a different setup and the lack of
medical team
intensity is going to have an impact on the injuries they'll be getting. But from what I've seen of these players, Jota for me is a big concern. Jota, if he plays, I think he will be starting as our main striker. But if we don't have Jota fit, if he's missing for the last chunk of the season, that's going to be a problem. That's going to be a big problem.
Okay. We spoke about it off air, so I'll give you a little time now. FSG. I know you had there's a bit you want to say on FSG. I'm not really one that talks about FSG that much, if I'm pretty honest. I am one that sees that they've brought good to the club. They've done good things, but at the same time, they do love to use the PR team to pull the wool over people's eyes. What do you think is the way around it?
Well, this is the thing. I mean, I don't particularly buy into the PR thing because I know that there's people who send that. There's people I believe who are agents, but I think that's with anyway. And I think that there's agents of the club, there's agents of the people that are against the club. They're going to be putting their messages out, much like with anything. The thing that I look at though is that the only way that you make a club change its dynamic and its direction is by affecting the pocket of the club. So, for example, I'm not happy with things this season. I'm going to be busting my old kits until whatever, until I see financial change in the team. Now, I'm not saying they have to go out there and spend 100, 200 million. But if we as fans are not happy with the direction the club's going into, we've got to vocalise that in ways that they will hear. Now, I look at it, if the match going fans are not saying anything, the stadiums will remain full. So then then the onus then falls onto those that have got an issue to try and affect the club, and that means financially not investing in things in the club that we normally would do. May not make a big difference, may make a major difference. We will never know. But without making a stand for stuff, we can't affect nothing. Because in America, they're all very happy. This club is making millions of pounds. How much time is it there getting on TV? As far as they're concerned, financially, and remember they're a business, it's working for them. And I honestly believe when they bought the club and when they had Klopp in place, I believe Klopp overachieved. I think that they wanted Klopp to be a competitive manager, maybe win a couple cups here, keep the fans happy, profits keep coming in. Where he took us to was beyond anyone's wildest dreams. And what we're now going to be seeing is that they're going to be managing the club and owning the club as they would have done anyway. They're not doing anything differently. It's just that we just don't have a world-class superstar manager who can turn water into wine.
Yeah. Yeah, cool. That's fair enough. Like I said, I don't really have that many views, so I don't really say much about FSG. But our last topic, we'll do our season predictions.
Yeah.
So, final standings. I think you've pretty much said it before, but just to put a cap on it, where do you think Liverpool will finish? I know where we think we can, but where do you think we will finish?
I think we will finish anywhere in the top. I'm going to say the top 3. And I'm going to say, I actually, my instinct tells me we will probably be in the top 4, fighting for 4th. But you see the way this club is, and the fact there's a number of different things to it I look at. If it is going to be Salah's last season, Van Dijk's last season, if it is, they want to go out on a high. You've also got a lot of winners there who believe that this may be their last tilt at trying to go for a title. They may have felt that last season, which is why they went all out last season. But I think that there was a little bit that they just couldn't get over the edge. I think that even with Villa, Chelsea, all these clubs having done what they've done, I still don't think the core of our team can be beaten for the top 3. Now, whether they can go any further without any injuries, I think that's unlikely. If we get any signings that affect injuries that we have, that may make a difference in terms of where in the top 3. But right now, I just say anywhere in the top 3. Obviously, I want 1. I won't really be too happy with 2. Won't be happy with 3. But you know what? Realistically, the 3rd place will be likely what we get, I think.
Yeah.
What about yourself?
I will echo everything you said, to be honest. I think we're going to finish 3rd. As we sit today, with no signings, I can't see how we finish 1st or 2nd. Yeah. I know Slot may bring good things, but I don't see anything we've done to overtake Man City or Arsenal, who have improved and will improve in City's case. So yeah, 3rd place for me. And in his 1st season, potentially without any signings, that's not a horrible job.
That's a very good 1st season without any signings. If you're coming in, no signings into this team and no one don't know how you play, very good 1st season. To build on that would be good, but I think my concern with it, to build on it will be good, but if you then end up losing Salah, Van Dijk, Trent, you're building a whole new house again, and that for me is a problem.
I forgot to say this earlier, because that's what I think. That's my big fear. My fear is they have said to Slot, because all this talk of he wants to assess the team. He's assessed the team. They said, okay, you've assessed it. We won't really buy much now. We'll see how the season goes. These guys are leaving. He's probably told them that these guys are probably leaving. So we lose those 3. Then he literally has to do a whole rebuild.
Yeah.
Because obviously they don't want to sell those guys this summer because they want to give him that chance to settle in. This is the settling in period of this season.
Yeah.
And then next season, he has his team. And that scares me. It scares me that we could lose Alisson, the spine of our team, basically. Alisson, Van Dijk, Salah, and Trent, all in one go.
Yeah.
If that were to happen next summer, then I feel sorry for Slot, and I'll be a very, very. We'll be fuming because you can't. It's hard to recover from that. Very hard to recover from that.
You look at it, yeah, and this is where for me the owners or the ownership or whoever it is dealing with the transfers have to take accountability for it, because if you look at it, you see the 4 players you mentioned there, at one point they've all been in the argument for the best player in their position in the world. Arguably, Alisson, best goalkeeper in the world. Van Dijk, best centre back in the world for a period of time. Salah, arguably best right winger in the world. Trent, arguably one of the best right backs in the world. To let all 4 of them go, and my concern, you see the Alisson thing, is bubbling under the radar. Because I'm concerned in why are you going out there to try and get a 30 million, 40 million pound backup keeper? That's the keeper you're looking to be a first choice. You don't spend that on a backup. You spend that on a first choice. And even if they loan him out, is it to loan him out to bring him back in to take over Alisson? And keepers enter their prime in his age. So we're looking to get rid of the best keeper in the world. Doesn't make sense to me. Doesn't make sense to me.
So that's what they're saying is happening. They're saying that he has told the club he probably wants a new challenge in the next 2 years.
Yeah.
So they're briefing that this is a way for us to future plan, because everyone rates his goalkeeper, and if rumour has it, because the rules state that we can't sign him now and then loan him to Bournemouth. It's against the rules. You can't sign a player and then loan him straight out to another Premier League club. So the latest I heard is that we've agreed, or we're about to agree a deal to sign him next summer. But as part of that deal, Valencia send him to Bournemouth this season.
Mm-hmm.
Whether that's true or not, I don't know. So it'll be interesting to see if that works.
This is what annoys me about this Zubimendi deal, because realistically they could have done a deal where Zubimendi could have quite easily stayed at Sociedad for this season, but we know we've got him, or even have a
look what happened with Keita when we did that though.
Was that?
Look what happened with Keita when we did that. We didn't get the real Keita. We got his cousin.
That was the only rule. That's the only rule time I can say, you know what, I'm concerned with how that went out. But I'd rather know that he was coming, and we know we've got this player who is exceptional, than not having a number 6. Because this is what, the third or the fourth time now we've gone for our first choice number 6 after Fabinho and have not got him. Who else? I mean,
6.
Yeah. This is the thing. If we're looking for a number 6 that badly, and we know the number 6 is that important to us, whether it was under Klopp or under this new manager Slot, surely they've got it in place. Well, if this one don't suit him, then this one will. You can't just say, we can't find no one else on the planet. That's impossible. Impossible.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay. I was going to ask you about cups. Are we going to win any? I think we'll win one. Potentially Carabao FA Cup.
Me too.
Yourself, the same?
I think, cool. I think it'll be a domestic cup. I think it will be a domestic cup.
Yeah.
Unless they go on a madness and win the Champions League, I think it'll be a domestic cup.
Yeah, that'd be great. Right, so I think this is probably straightforward. So I'll probably join them together. Top goal scorer and assist, Salah, I'm assuming.
Yep.
And who will be our most valuable player this season?
Most valuable player this season, I think, is going to be Alisson. That's who I think it'll be. No, I'm going to change that. It'll be Salah. Salah's going to want to go out on a swan song. It'll be Salah.
I think it will be Alisson, but Salah will get the headlines.
Yeah.
Alisson will save us left, right, and centre, but because Salah's going to kill it and get a lot of goals this season and assists, he'll get the headlines.
Yeah.
So that's my view on it. But deep down, it's going to be Alisson. And then last thing before we go, your bold prediction or potential surprises for the team this season.
My bold prediction is that we will win either the Premier League or the Champions League. That's my bold out there mad prediction. But my surprise, I think, this season is going to be how well Harvey Elliott is going to do. I think Harvey Elliott is going to have a very big season this season.
Okay. I can deal with that. Bold prediction is Núñez will get 25 goals plus in all competitions.
Mm-hmm.
No. Yeah, 25 goals plus in all competitions. Potential probably people will say that's a surprise. Not a prediction.
I can think of plenty who will be saying that.
Yeah. Potential surprise. Quansah to be Young Player of the Year.
Ooh, that's a good call, you know. That's a very good call. Because I think he will start.
I know some people don't rate him as highly.
I think he will start at the
Yeah.
first choice centre back against Ipswich,
Mm.
which says a
And
lot
it's up
about
to
where
Konate
Konate.
to get his shirt back.
Exactly, says a lot about where Konate has dropped down in the pecking order. Says a hell of a lot.
To be fair, I'll be fair on Konate. The benefit that Kwanzaa has had is he had a good end to the season and he started preseason. So Konate only came back for the last week. So he's playing catch up.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately for him, he's not a Van Dijk. We could be wrong. Konate might start because Konate played 90 minutes the other day, I think, or close to 90 minutes. But it could be a case where Kwanzaa has shown himself up so well that, yep, he's got that shirt. And I got no problem with it. I think he's that good and he can learn fast that he'll surprise some of our fans this season.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Very, very good potential player there. Very good potential for him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's it for this episode. Thank you very much, Wale.
No problem. Thank you very much for having me on.
That's all right. We'll be seeing you throughout the season. Hopefully, we'll be doing a lot of post-match podcasts together after the Liverpool games.
Hopefully, a lot of post-match victories.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. So, guys, don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe and share, and also press that button. Take it easy.
Cheers. Take care. Have a good night. Take care.